Ciao, everybody. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone on a special presentation of the Europa League and our potential opponents. Never thought we'd be doing this, but we are where we are for a reason. We stink, and we've dropped down to the Europa League after finishing third place in our Champions League group with Benfica and PSG. We finished with 3 points, so it's kind of crazy that we made the Europa League anyway, but Maccabi was just way worse in terms of goal difference. So, what we're going to do today is go through our potential opponents in the next round of the Europa League, and there are 7 potential opponents. There would have been 8, but Roma finished second in their group in the Europa League, so we don't have to play them, so our opponents get narrowed down. There's Man U, there's Midgetland, there's Monaco, Nantes, PSV, Rennes, and Union Berlin. And what we're going to do is, well, what I'm going to do, because no one else is with me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through basically how they did in the Europa League. They all finished second, teaser, but what their best performance was in the Europa League, or what the best thing that came out of the group stage was. Their 4 best players, not necessarily on names, but it's based on stats and performance. And then I'm going to let you guys know what place they are in their current domestic leagues as of today, as of recording, which is 10:45 Saturday morning, my time, EST. So there you go. So first off, we'll start with Man U. They're graded on stars, so we're going to start with Man U. So I give them a 4.5 out of 5 because obviously they're not the most perfect team in the world, but they are starting to get a little bit better, especially defensively, especially because that guy in the picture right there, Lisandro Martinez, he's been a revelation defensively for Man United. They finished second in the group, obviously, to Real Sociedad. Obviously, if you watched the last game of the group stage, Real Sociedad lost 1-0 to Man United, but it didn't matter because of the head-to-head and goal difference. So Man United's best feat in the Europa League was having 15 points and finishing second. So we all know them. We all know their star name. We all know the money that they have. I'm going to say their 4 best players performance-wise are currently Bruno Fernandes, just stats alone. Yes, he's a Hollywood passer, but he gets the job done in terms of actual output. Lisandro Martinez, as you see depicted in that picture. Marcus Rashford has a bunch of goals this year, and Antony is lights out, a fantastic dribbler, and should make us fear if he's running against Kostic and Alexandro. So this is the best team we could possibly face, in my opinion. They're 5th in the Prem, and they're just shooting up as we speak. So they're in good form. Will they be in good form come February? Who's going to be there in the January market? I don't know. Maybe Ronaldo still wants to leave. I don't think that matters because I think their best 11 is without Ronaldo in it. So we'll see what happens. If we're going on what is the best matchup and the most fantastic matchup, it will be Man United. Like, this will be the headliner of the next round of the Europa League. So I don't know if UEFA has something in for this or if they're going to try and make this happen, but this would be the most fantastic matchup we could possibly have. So next we'll move on to Midgetland, and they are Danish minnows. I'll say minnows. Again, I'm not going to go too in depth of this team because I'll let you know why in a second, but they did finish second in their group, obviously, to Feyenoord. That was the crazy group with Lazio, Feyenoord, and someone I forget the other team, but they all finished on 8 points. So that was crazy in its own right, especially on the last match day when Feyenoord was like 4th or 3rd, and then they jumped up to. It was similar to the Champions League group with Tottenham, Sporting, Marseille, and I forget the other team right now. Oh, and Eintracht Frankfurt, the team the second came into the Champions League group. Their biggest achievement in the group stage was beating Lazio 5-1, which is crazy. I think it was a couple months ago now. The star power is obviously not there, but they do have some players that were very, productive. They have a guy named Evander who got 5 goal contributions in the Europa League. Isaksen also got 5 goal contributions. Sviatchenko got 2 goals. So again, I know Evander's that typical playmaker, and I don't really know anybody else on the team, but Isaksen did have good goal contributions, and Sviatchenko got 2 goals. And I think he's been on the national team before for Ukraine. further to the point, they finished eighth, or they're not finished, but they're currently eighth in the Danish Superliga. So this is why I gave them a 2.5-star rating. Yeah, they had a good result against Lazio, but they finished on 8 points. They don't have much star power. They're eighth in their own league in the Danish Superliga. So come February, everything might change. They might get into good form, but this is probably one of the teams you want to face. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful either, but if you're Juventus, you probably want to play these guys. So I'll move on to the next team, and it is a team we should be familiar with. We played them in the Champions League before. It's Monaco, as you can see depicted there. I give them a 3.5 out of 5. They have some history to them. Obviously, we know they play in France. They finished second to Ferencvárosi, the Hungarian team that we played in the Champions League, I think last year or 2 years ago. Their best result was they beat Crvena Zvezda 4-1. So they hammered down on the Serbian team that's been in the Champions League before. They try and play neat and tidy, and they try to build up from the back. They try to be like one of those progressive teams. Obviously, they don't have the players. I gotta be careful. They shouldn't have the players to beat us, but they do have some star power to them. They have a player that Juventus was interested in, Benoit Badiashile. We all know him. In the summer, he's been, or for 2 summers now, I guess, he's been in the transfer links for us. And they obviously got the guy in the picture. They got Ben Yedder, goal scorer, always a threat. Kevin Volland is another goal scorer on their team. He had 3, I think, in like 4 games in the Europa League, and he's a constant threat up top. Those two, they work off each other very well. And their goalie, Nubel, I think he's on loan from Bayern Munich right now. He's supposed to be like the next Neuer. He's been fantastic. Shot stopper, playing out from the back. He's a very good goalie. Is that going to matter if they play us? Maybe, but if we're fully fit and we have all systems go, we should beat Monaco. So again, everything's going to have to gear up till February. I'm not sure who's going to be in form, who's going to be out of form, but this is a winnable tie. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to put my dog down. So we'll see what happens with Monaco, but again, they're probably one of the teams you want to avoid out of this 7-team group. So we'll move on to the next team that we have listed here. It's another French team. It's Nantes. As you can see there, I rated them the same as Midgetland, at 2.5 out of 5. Again, getting out of your group in the Europa League gives you some status, obviously, but where they are positioned in their league is it's kind of sad. But Nantes finished second to Freiburg in their group. Their claim to fame in the Europa League this year is they beat Olympiacos twice, so that's two decent wins against a European historic club in Olympiacos, especially because they have Marcelo, James Rodriguez, all them. They loaded up with old stars. In terms of production, they do have some players that were very productive in the group stage. Ludovic Blas, Mustafa Mohamed, and then a guy who, if you play FIFA, you know this guy. He's from Nantes. He's obviously Moses Daddy Simon. I know Justin's gonna love that name if we go against Nantes in the Europa League. He's gonna love Moses Daddy Simon. He's electric. He's fast. He's not the best end product player, but he does have a few goal contributions this season. And a familiar name that we might know is Moussa Sissoko, the guy from Tottenham. So they do have some names, but at the end of the day, they're 16th in Ligue 1, and they should be easily beatable. Again, if we're all on the same page, if we're in form, we shouldn't have to worry about it if we draw Nantes. So there you go. Next is going to be the second team you don't want to play, in my opinion. It's PSV. They got some tidy ballers. I gave them a 4 out of 5 because I didn't want to put them on the same pedestal as Man United due to the amount of money and star power, and we don't know what Man United is going to do in the January transfer window. PSV is your typical Dutch team. They love to play total football. They got the players to do it. Do they have the star power? Do they have the depth to try and go far in this competition? I don't know. Again, we're 3 months away from February, so I have no idea. I don't even know if we're going to get them. But they came second to Arsenal in their group. Their claim to fame is that they beat Arsenal, which I expect they could definitely beat Arsenal on their day. Their best players, or the guys you want to look out for, everyone knows Cody Gakpo. He's fantastic. He's goal contributions. I think he's at a goal contribution at least per game this season. Last year he was similar. His end product is good. He's not your typical tiny winger. He's fast. He's direct. He's mobile. He's a goal scoring winger, but can also provide assists. Javi Simmons, obviously the guy that came from Barcelona, that came from PSG, the young kid. He's added something else to this PSV attack. He's added goals to his own game, which is nice to see. He was one of those wonder kids that didn't quite make it at the top clubs, but I think this is a nice step in his career where he can flourish, and then he's going to take the next step at a different club. But watch out for him, because that's total football. He does everything well. Tackles, passes the ball well, finishes well, can play as a 10, can play as a 9, can play as a 6, can play as an 8, can play as a winger. That's how total football he is. He's someone to look out for. I would love for Juventus to sign him, but we don't scout those guys. A couple other players to look out for: winger Savio, another quick guy, dynamic, and Noni Madueke. He's another guy that probably comes off the bench sometimes. Could inject some pace into their team. They're all very good up top. And they got Luke de Jong, who's a big tall guy, adds something different. And they're currently second in the Eredivisie right now. So this is the team that I probably want to face second least. This should be troublesome if we got them in February. So we'll move on now. To another French team. Crazy. This is a third French team we could possibly face, and it's Rennes. So it would be the Rugani Bowl. The Derby de Rugani, because I think Rugani went on loan to this team before he came back at halfway through the year. I gave them a 3.5 because they're not quite as good as PSV, but they still are a decent team. They're third in Ligue 1. They finished second to Fenerbahce. That's right. Their claim to fame is they beat Dynamo Kiev twice, and probably more impressively, they're third in Ligue 1. They got some good players. They got some actually fantastic players on paper. Terrier, that guy's the ultimate goal contributor. I think he has over double digits in goals, and he's at 6 assists or something on the year. They got Guiri, who I thought Juventus was going to try and sign in the summer with a swap for Moise Kean. That would have been good. I like that player a lot. He has over 6 goals, I believe, already on the season, and he's missed some time. They got the Croatian Livro Mayer, who's very tidy in midfield. Love him. Good playmaker. Kind of young as well, so they got some young talent, and they got... he just has 7 assists this year, but he's a pure playmaker as well. Ben Bourigeaud. I don't know if I said the name right. When I watch Ligue 1 on Fubo, the announcers aren't the best, and I don't know if they're pronouncing the names right, but I'm going to say Bourigeaud. So there you go. He's got 7 assists this year, and he was a good contributor to the second place finish in the Europa League group stage. And as I mentioned, they're third in Ligue 1. This is another team. Obviously, you see in the picture here, that's Tiate, and he used to play for Bologna. So it's another player you will recognize. But this is a team, Rennes, where if they have all their players and they're still in form, this could be a trouble team. This could be sneaky scary for Juventus if they draw Rennes. They should beat them. We should beat Rennes, but this would be a tricky team because they are very good defensively. So we'll move on to the last possible team we can face, and this team is kind of weird. It's Union Berlin. Before anyone poops on me, I understand where they are in the Bundesliga. I understand where they finished last year in the Bundesliga. That's why they're in the Europa League. They're currently first in the Bundesliga. I get it. I'm still giving them 2.5 stars. Because once I name some of the players and I tell you some stats that will back myself up for giving them a 2.5 stars, you'll understand why. So they finished second in the group to second-rate Belgian team Union Saint-Gilloise. Ale, you could probably say that way better than me. And their claim to fame is they beat everyone at least once in the group stage. So they beat the Union Saint-Gilloise team and the other two other teams in the group. So good for them. I'm going to name you some players now, and you tell me with a straight face that you know who I'm talking about. The first one you should know, Ronnie Khedira, that's Sammy's bro. He is just an engine that never seems to fail. He plays every minute of every game, and it's not that he's great, but he's just a workhorse and a work engine, and he has some of the same traits as Sammy, where he's very intelligent playing the game. He knows where to clog up holes. He plays it simple, and he keeps it simple. But it's been working, so good for him. The goalie, Rano, again, if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, I'm sorry, but Rano, he's a very good shot stopper. Not the best with his feet, but he's a very good shot stopper, and he does what he's supposed to do. He collects crosses well, and he has a lot of saves already in both competitions, Bundesliga and Europa League. And then, I'm not sure if you guys remember Robin Gnocchi, not the pasta or not the potatoes, saucy potatoes that Italians love. The German center back that used to play in the Prem for a bit. He has a bunch of goal contributions in the Europa League, but he's a center back, and they keep it tight at the back. So that's another guy, one of their top guys. And then Becker is another player that has 3 goal contributions in the group stage. Now, they are first in the Bundesliga, but their underlying numbers are telling me this is unsustainable. They are shooting way above their expected goals. They're outperforming a lot of underlying numbers right now, and it's still fairly early into the season where it's like, okay, when are they going to drop off? Like, it's expected at this point. If Juventus draw Union Berlin, I'm not scared whatsoever. Unless they got Leicester luck, then we should be scared. But I don't see that happening with this team. They don't have a Jamie Vardy. They don't have a Riyad Mahrez. So I think their time's going to come where they're just going to drop off in form and collecting points. So there you have it. Those are the 7 teams. Let me know who you guys want to face. If it's Man United for the challenge, let me know in the comments below. If you want to play PSV because that'd be a fun game, let me know in the comments. The 2 teams I want to avoid are obviously Man United and PSV. The other 5 teams, sure. We should be beating all of these teams if we're serious. But for the first 18 games of this season, at the time of recording, we're not that serious. We're 7-4-7. So we'll see what happens come February. The draw is on Monday. So we'll find out our opponents on Monday, November 7th. Stay tuned for that, especially on this channel and on our Twitter account. Follow the Bianconeri Zone on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Bianconeri Zone. Follow myself at Gennady151 on Twitter. I will be commenting all day on that and who we're going to be playing. Same with Alejandro at AlejandroBZ and Justin Sofro at Justin Sofro on Twitter. Follow those 2 guys. They'll be commenting on it all day as well. So with that, like this video. Again, comment below who you want to play. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay notified. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.